So let's know what we are talking about is about golden sparrow. Let's know more about golden sparrow. Sone Ki Chidiya is a name with which we love to introduce our K-12 modern age school, a complete alternative to the physical school, our very own Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling. We are proud to be part of this new era of blended learning, which is a new norm. We not only learn math, science, social, and languages, but we have a wide range of subjects open to us like business studies, home science, financial literacy, coding, and many more. We have incorporated the UN recommended 17 sustainable developmental goals along with public speaking, life skills, and many other subjects. We here at Golden Sparrow follow I'm so sorry. We follow the Scandinavian model of education that's 4 hours, 4 days a week, and the rest of the time you can take off for pursuing your own hobbies. So, regular assessments, exit tickets, top quality teachers from all over the country are here at your homes on one common platform, the Google Classrooms. Being part of us, you have access to recorded videos on the Google Drive, PDFs, and our books are easily available on Amazon as well. We follow a curriculum that's a blend of both national as well as international boards. At Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling, we follow Cambridge as well as Oxford's book for grade 1 to 8 and NIOS for grade 9 and above. Our students here are encouraged to participate in many events that we organize every month, from Environmental Day to Friendship Day and even International Day or even the International Tea Day. Yes, you got it right. We have a sports day which is organized to keep our little sparrows hale and healthy, but with a twist of virtual performance, which we call the game day. To love, to leave no stone unturned, we encourage our students to meet the world outside by organizing various guest lectures and workshops by advocates, doodle artists, entrepreneurs, and many more. We are your school on wheels if you are traveling parents and stand by the nation by giving quality education at discounted prices for our loved armed forces. Golden Sparrow Hub Schooling is all in all an innovative, uses creative ways of teaching, flexible with its timings, scholarly work with competitive teachers who constantly encourage our students and enhance their skills and lay foundation for the excellence of the students. And a positive school culture promoting happiness and acceptance of the learning process. Thank you. That's about Golden Sparrow. Now let's welcome our guest speaker. Good afternoon to one and all present here today. I'm extremely happy to welcome our guest speaker for today, Mr. Nitin Mahajan. He is a founder and a CEO of Crispminds, India's first parent learning platform. He has combined 20 years of technology experience along with 8 years of parenting experience to develop the tech first solution that helps people, parents, be better prepared to handle challenges that come their way constantly. He has spent over 4 years researching and connecting with experts on parenting related areas and is also a certified career counselor. Dear parents, let's welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Nitin Mahajan, to share his experience and knowledge about the topic tackling parental stress. Over to you, sir.
Hi, everybody. A very good morning, good afternoon to everybody who's joined. Thank you so much for that introduction, Urja. I'm honored to be here. And let me begin by saying that I'm highly impressed by how the team at Golden Sparrow is leveraging technology to take education where people go rather than limiting it by space and a physical location. So that's an innovative and a good model, and I'd like to appreciate the efforts that you people are putting in. So today the conversation will be about parenting stress. And first of all, whosoever's joined, I'd like to congratulate you on being at least a bit initiated and motivated uh, towards the idea of, or accepting the idea that there is stress in parenting, right? So we'll quickly begin with the presentation. I'll be using some slides. We'll be having a conversation, and I hope that by the end of the conversation, you at least have some solution, some way forward to overcome and tackle day-to-day stress that you face as parents. Okay. Okay. So just allow me a quick second and present my screen. Okay, so okay, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. Okay, great. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is probably a very dramatic representation of what a stressed parent would look like, right? So let me begin with a question. Okay, I'd want to know how many of the parents present here can relate to this image. You can give us a thumbs up, say a yes. Just let us know how many of you can relate to this. Okay, so I can see a lot of thumbs up coming in. So that's one point clear, that we all can at least relate to this image. Now, I'd want you to take a small exercise of sorts, where I want you to think about the scenario at your own home, which comes to mind when you look at this image. You don't have to share it with me, so don't hesitate. You don't need to be politically correct. Uh, just think of that one scenario which comes to your mind where you are feeling the same, and is something that happens constantly. Okay, and if you identify it, just make a note of it for yourself. And what I'd like you to do is that as we move ahead in the conversation, I'd want you to keep this scenario at the back of your mind and try to interpret and analyze it a little better. Okay. Okay, so coming back to what we are going to talk about. So the topic of conversation today is parenting stress. So let's first try and overcome all the doubts, the questions that we'd have in our mind. And I'm sure some of the people in the audience here and others outside as well probably would have these questions or thoughts in mind, right? Where we say that, okay, fine, whatever is happening today is just a phase, it's going to pass, right? uh, I am parenting the way that my parents did, and I turned out fine, so I'm sure my kids are also going to turn out fine, right? And everything is going to fall in place, and everything is going to be hunky-dory very soon. Now, do you feel this because you genuinely feel it's a phase, or there is some level of question in your mind, a doubt in your mind, that if I say that I'm stressed because of my child, what kind of a parent or a father or a mother am I? Right? So many a times the acceptance around the fact that you are a little stressed does not happen because you don't want to accept the cause. Okay, so let's try and understand stress a little better. Okay, so what we'll try and do is look at certain scenarios. Since we are going to be talking about parenting stress, what we'll try and do is we'll talk about some scenarios whereby we can understand what stress is and how parenting stress isn't really very different from any other kind of stress. Okay, so imagine a scenario, and I'm sure most of you would have experienced this in personal life as well. It's Friday evening. You're all set to get off work, log off from work, whether you're working from home or you're sitting in an office waiting to take a cab or drive down back to home and family. You have some plans with family and friends, right? And just about when you're going to log off, you get a call from your manager, right? and he or she on the other side says that, hey, there's been a business critical issue on the client side. Okay, the client is with me on the other line shouting, drop whatever you're doing and just sort this out today, sort it out now, right? So I'm sure many of you would have gone through something similar. Now tell me, what do you experience in this scenario? If anybody wants to share, I'm happy to have people talk or drop in a message in the chat. uh, what is it that you're going through at that point in time? Okay, so since I have been in this scenario, I'll share what I felt at times when something like this has happened. Okay, so you feel frustrated. Okay, you feel disappointed that, okay, fine, you're probably letting down your family, and you're feeling angry as well as to why is this happening, right? So is it stress? Would you call it stress? Would you call this situation being that you are stressed about what is happening? Yes. Okay, let's imagine another scenario. Let's look at a different case now. You bought a brand new car. Okay, you're happy about it, you spend a lot of money purchasing that car, and you're getting it out of the showroom right now, taking that very first left turn out of the showroom. Okay, there's an oncoming biker. He hits your car, scratches the car, and zips past you. Okay, you can't catch the biker, you can't go after him, your car is damaged, right? What do you feel at that point in time? It's a situation which is out of your control, right? You can't do anything about it. Again, you absolutely, Arpana, thanks for sharing. Very angry, right? So, anger, frustration. Again, would you call this a stressful situation? Would you say that this is stressing? This is something that stresses you out? Yes, right? Okay. So, now let's look at a couple of examples more, and then I think I would have driven the point home. Imagine a scenario where you bought a brand new phone. Again, we're talking about something new. Okay. You bought a brand new phone. The doorbell rings, you leave your phone on the desk, on the table, wherever you're sitting, and you walk away to answer the door. By the time you come back, you notice that your toddler is sitting next to your phone, which is on the floor, and is wondering why there are no more lights, nothing happening on the screen. Okay? You pick up the phone and you realize somehow he or she has managed to drop the phone, crack the screen, and your phone is not working anymore. Okay? How is the feeling that you get at this point in time different from when somebody crashed your brand new car? Do you not feel frustrated at that point in time? Do you not feel angry at that point in time? Okay, so there's a question. Somebody's raised a hand. Yeah, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
hi sir. Hi sir.
Hi.
So sir, I can totally relate to this scenario what you have just mentioned. So
Right.
basically, not the toddler, but I have dogs. So they have
Okay.
done, they have damaged my charger, they have damaged the phone. But also at that time, it's not frustrating because I totally understand that they are not aware of this thing, that they are damaging the things, right? The same goes with toddler as well. They don't know, they don't understand the value of that thing. So at that time, I cannot get hyper, but I have different things to, um, do so that they can understand like this behavior is not acceptable. So this is a complete difference when you are dealing with toddlers and someone who doesn't know about that particular thing, that how valuable and expensive it is.
Absolutely. So I agree. So that's the point that I'm trying to make at this juncture. Yeah, Nurja, you want to say something?
So that's the same scenario that we have gone through. See, I've just bought my car out and I myself bumped it into the stone compound when it was just my birthday gift my husband gifted me, and I bumped it into the wall. But then it is not frustration, it is not stress, it is disappointment that I had to face, that it was a gift given to me and I had to damage it right away. And same with the phone, if the kids have to drop it, we don't have that anger. It's basically that disappointment that we were not able to use the brand new one. Even before it's been used, it has been damaged. So I think different situations, we have stress at a different levels. If I'm not wrong, we are talking about stress. So the picture shows the stress because he's frustrated to drive. So that
Right.
is not the situation that we were facing. It is a completely different scenario altogether. So at different stages, a different we have a different feeling altogether. I think one of the parent is already mentioned different feelings at different situations.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're right. So I accept your points that yes, you feel different, but it's let's look at it as to why you feel different in that scenario. Is it a different feeling because it is your pet or maybe your child who you love who is involved in that scenario, right? So you control your emotions at that point in time, right? But if
Yeah,
you look
because
at
it
it
is
from a
our own
perspective,
child. We do control. We
absolutely,
do understand it is. And
absolutely,
it's not only our child. Even if it is a neighbor's child, there's nothing much that we
any
could do
child for
because the
that matter,
child doesn't understand.
absolutely. But the point that I'm trying to make, it's a difficult situation that you're in at that point in time, which is not in your control, but you are having to control how you would have reacted otherwise, right? So that in itself is stressful for your mind, is stressful for you because you're having to control and you can't vent out your frustration or anger or the natural response that comes to you, right? So stress is nothing else but a natural response that anybody has to a situation which is worrisome for them, right? Which is a difficult situation, and if it is something which goes on consistently, it turns into a bigger problem because it becomes chronic, right? So the first thing that we need to understand is that maybe it's a different form, different shape, a reaction to the situation, and that stimulus is different. But parenting stress in itself is not very different from any other kind of stress. Okay, so having said that, let's look at a little bit into understanding parenting stress and why I say that it is not very different from any other kind of stress, but has different traits, maybe different characteristics to it. Okay. Uh, the reason why you would be stressed in a situation which we mentioned earlier would probably be because you were angry, because it happened by somebody who did not, who you did not know, who you could not control as well, right? Uh, Now, at this point in time, what I want you to do is think back of the scenario that you've identified at home, okay, which we did when you saw the first image, and then try and relate and see if the characteristics that we're talking about still relate or they don't. Okay, so the first thing which is very clear is that we as parents are constantly in a state of worry, right? I'm not judging or saying whether this is good or bad. All I'm saying is that we are constantly in a state of worry. Either it is about the health of a child or it is about the safety of a child, right? We want them to be behaving and being at the best. We want them to be eating the best. We want their health always to be at the best, right? And we get worried and we react at times when our children act very differently or throw a tantrum maybe in a public place or they don't score well, right? So education, health, safety, right? And possibly the future is something which we are constantly worrying about. So I'd say that parenting stress is not all bad, but the good thing about it is that it stems out of concern, right? If you're worrying about your child, it is because you're concerned about your child, right? But it's a situation in most cases where you're not able to bring about too much of a change. We'll talk about why we are not able to bring about a change as well. Or in fact, let me ask you this question, right? While your heart is in the right place, the intent is right, that I am concerned about my child and that is why I am doing what I'm doing. Why do you think that you are usually not able to change the situation? And you can again refer back to the incident or the situation at home and see if you've been able to bring about change. Okay, if you have not been able to bring about the change, then tell me why do you think that's not happened? So anybody who's been able to bring about a change in the situation, you need not share the situation if you don't want to. But yes, what did you do different? Or what do you think was done which helped you bring about a change?
So me
Yeah, Nurja.
again here. I see. I am a mentor at the school. When I have to teach my students at school, my way of behaving to them or speaking to them, even if they are doing a silliest mistake, is quite different from how I handle my child at home. So my child
Yes,
makes it a point to let me know that, Mama, you are different with your students, and why are you different to me? Maybe I try to
correct,
vent out my anger onto her, which is more evident to her, which is not on when I am on the platform here. So all the
correct.
change that I could do is I started teaching her also online. That's the only change that I could do.
Okay, great. But why do you think that is the case?
So
That's
I
a very
believe
good point
that
that
she
you bring
is.
up.
I believe that she is with me, and she should understand that I'm going through a different situation. The children whom I'm teaching are not with me, not physically present with me, and she is physically present. But then I should understand that she is a child, and she wouldn't understand. She would only understand that Mama has been different in both different places.
Okay,
So that's the only change that I could bring about. Now she is much better. She feels comfortable with me.
okay. That's good that she's comfortable and you've been able to make a change. Yes, Annie, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So the thing is, sir, whenever the toddler or the small kids are doing something, right? So we have to understand that they see the things, they don't see the things like us. We see different things in different
Correct,
places, right? But for
correct.
them, everything is same. So we have to understand according to their point of view and also how we would feel when we have done these things at our childhood. So I think that's how we can make some changes.
Brilliant. So that's a brilliant point that you bring out, Annie, and I'm very happy that you brought it. And you're already thinking in this manner and already initiated in this direction. So yes, what you're saying is very true. That one of the ways to go ahead and deal with a situation which is stressful as a parent is to put yourself in your child's shoes, right? So that's probably one of the things that can definitely be done, and every parent should be doing it. So I'll quickly come back to the point as to why you think change doesn't happen for those who have not been able to make a change as well, right? Because it's important to understand why, and then you'll be able to correct. Okay. So like Nurjahan mentioned that with her own daughter she had this issue. So do you think that at some point, instead of worrying about or thinking about why your daughter or why anyone's child is behaving the way or doing what they are doing, you started worrying about why is he or she not listening to me, and you react according to that? So I'm just rephrasing what you said, Noorja. That instead of
Yes, sir.
focusing on,
Basically, she was throwing tantrums, which I had to understand that she was not comfortable. She found that you are different with people, and not, and you are quite annoyed or disappointed with her performance when you are not with the students that I teach. So maybe this is when I had to put myself into the shoes of her to understand that she needs a teacher who is same considerate as how she is with her students. She wants the mother to be as considerate as well.
correct. So
Yes.
correct, absolutely. See, and that's so you are in a very unique and an advantageous position, right? Because you're able to see both scenarios, and I think that really helps. Bringing out this example really
Correct.
helps. See, as a teacher, what you're looking at is why is the child behaving like this, and you're trying to correct or make a change for a betterment in that behavior. But as a mother, your expectation is that a child should listen to me. That's the major cause of why we as parents are unable to make a change to a situation, right? We focus, our intent is right, our concern is also valid, but what usually happens is that the concern gets overpowered by the frustration as to why things aren't happening the way I want them to happen, right? And that's where we lose track. Okay. So, and this obviously has a negative impact. right? It has a negative impact on the parent, it has a negative impact on the child as well. From parents perspective, you end up being more irritable, you end up being angry, and depending on the age of the child, you end up being resentful of them as well, which is not healthy for you, which is not healthy for your child either. In your child, you'd see signs of indiscipline, you'd see signs of aggression, and if it's a preteen or a teenager that you're dealing with, you would suddenly see that they have completely withdrawn from you. The communication has broken down, right? And you may see low self-esteem or low self-confidence in them as well. Okay, so one of the things that you need to keep in mind, and again, keep the incident uh, or the scenario that you identified at home and see whether it fits this model of stemming out of concern, but you getting overpowered by the actual frustration of things not changing, and what kind of an impact does it have, right? Okay, now one of the things that we spoke about early on when we started talking about stress is that it can persist and it can become chronic, right? So this you may be able to relate to if the scenario that you identified is repeating at home as well and has been repeating for a good amount of time. Okay, the problem with parenting stress is it persists, not only in case of one incident, not only in case of one kind of a scenario, but over time. You don't stop being a parent once your child turns 3 or 7 or 10 or 13, or for that matter, even 20, right? So I'm sure that me at 40, my parents still worry about me, right? And I'm sure it's going to be the case with all of you, right? So parenting stress is something which persists, right? And irrespective of age group, it's going to be there for a long time, irrespective of the intensity or the shape and form that it takes, right? So one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that until we accept the point that yes, there is a change that is needed in the environment, this is not going to go anywhere, right? You may deal with it in your own way, right? You may get used to living with it, but it's not going to go and it's not going to change the environment, and it is going to have an impact. And forget about anything, forget about parenting. Anything that needs a change, any kind of mindset that needs a change, has to begin with acceptance, right? So that's the point that I'm trying to drive home, that of the framework or the model or the few steps that I'm going to be giving you over the next 2 to 3 minutes. The first point is that you need to accept that yes, the situation and the environment needs a change, and that change may not necessarily be with your child, it could be in the environment, it could be with you, right? So one of the first things that you need to do to overcome a parenting stress is you need to be more observant. You need to be an observant parent. You need to be present in the moment. You can call it anything that you want. You can call it being conscious. You can call it being mindful. Go with the terminology or the term that suits you and you like best, right? But what really needs to happen is that you need to know what is happening in and around you, in your environment, when you're in a situation which you find stressful with your child, right? Is there some specific occurrence, some specific individual, some specific kind of activity that you're doing, which is triggering the behavior that is undesirable for you, right? So observation is going to be the first step, which is going to help you go ahead and identify the triggers, identify patterns, right? So it's recommended that you maintain a journal if you're into writing, or probably in some way or the other, make a note, identify what happens or what is happening around you when you are in that situation. Okay. The second most important thing that you need to do, or let me say the third, first is acceptance, second is observation. The third thing which we need to do as parents is that we need to be open to learning. Okay, we need to put away our egos for some time, that yes, we are parents and we know what's best for our child, right? We need to make use of resources, information, and people who are available to us to go ahead and help us in these situations. Uh, For example, you can go and talk to the teachers at school if they are open to listening to you. If the school is offering any kind of counselors, please go ahead and talk to them if it's a situation which you're unable to find a solution to, right? Let me also try and explain this with an example. So uh, let's say we or I suddenly decide that, okay, fine, from tomorrow I want to start playing the keyboard or the guitar, okay, and I go buy one of the best in the market and I get it for myself. What is that one thing without which I will not be able to do anything even if I have the best instrument with me to play? What is that first step that I need to take? Anybody?
Need to manage your time first, sir.
Okay,
For the
brilliant.
busy schedules, take out some
Brilliant.
time for yourself.
Let's assume you manage time. Okay, so Salim, yes, correct. That's the answer that I was looking for. Not that what you said, Noorjan, is wrong. That is also correct. Okay. Okay, Shabana says guitar lessons. Aparna Shah says learn. Yes, that's exactly what you will need to do. You will need to learn, right? That's the first step you will take. Whatever be your mode of learning, right? You can go ahead, look at YouTube lessons. You can go to a friend. You can join classes somewhere. You will talk to the person who's an expert. You will go ahead and take those lessons, learn how to play, and then you will go ahead. Uh, let's take another example, just so that we reconfirm the point. Wherever you are in your stage in your professional lives right now, let's assume you say, I want to make a complete career shift, okay, or I want to go to the next aspirational role in my organization. What is it that you will do? You'll work hard, that I agree, right? You'll be putting in a lot of time in your work, you'll be dedicated, but what is it, that one thing without which you will not be able to progress, develop skills? Absolutely, Shalana. So you will upskill, right? You will upskill yourself to the point so that you can handle that role, right? So that you can handle what comes with it. So when we are willing to go ahead and learn, and we understand that learning is so important for us, even to pick up a hobby, from something like making a change in your career, which is critical to you, and something which is just probably for entertainment, such as a hobby, you are open to learn, and we are open to go ahead and do what is needed to learn. Then, in a role which is so critical to us, right? You made a conscious choice to become a parent, right? So it's a very critical role that you're handling as a parent. You're responsible for the upbringing of a child. In such a scenario, why do we hesitate to learn? Why are we so reluctant to go talk to somebody who can help us, right? Learning and talking will help you move to the next step, which is very, very important, is to adapt whatever is happening. Adapt to whatever is happening, and to adapt yourself to the way you should be, so that the focus can be on the right question. And when I say right question, let me come back to what I mentioned earlier, that instead of focusing on why is my child not listening to me, we need to focus on why is my child behaving or doing what they are doing, right? So that shift needs to happen from focusing on your conditions not being met to understanding what is causing the child to behave a certain way. That switch, that transition can only happen if you take guidance, only happen if you are open to learn and you are willing to make that switch and change, right? So just so that we are clear, we will quickly talk about, or I'll just reiterate what are the means, what are the ways which need to happen and need to be brought about as a change in the mindset and how you're approaching these situations, right? First, there needs to be acceptance that there is something that needs to change. Second, you have to be observant and you have to identify patterns, you have to identify triggers. Third, please make use of credible resources, platforms, people who are available to help you. Don't hesitate. And third, adapt and make the change that is necessary in the environment and in your thought process, so that you react differently and you are focusing on the right why. So that's all that I wanted to share today in terms of a framework. I'd still wanted to go ahead and link this back to the scenarios that you people have identified. See whether it falls into the category of parenting stress for you or not. See if you're applying this model to find a solution. And if you have not been, I hope whatever I have told you has, if not given you an exact solution to your problem, at least given you a new perspective on how you should be approaching the problem. Right? I'm open to any questions that you people would want to ask at this point in time. I'll try my best to answer, and we can move ahead from this point. Back to you, Nurja and Joyce.
Oh, thank you. Wow, that was indeed a wonderful session. Nitin sir, can you stop sharing the screen?
Yeah, yeah, I'm just.
I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Nitin Mahajan, for sharing his expertise and insights with us. As a token of appreciation, love, and gratitude from Team GSH, I, Joyce Cletus, Principal of Golden Sparrow Hub, on behalf of my entire team, would like to gift a wonderful memento today to Mr. Nitin Mahajan. Allow me a minute to share my screen. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yeah, yes, it is,
Okay.
Joyce. Thank you so much for this lovely token. I'm really thankful for giving me this opportunity to interact with you all and with your parent community as well.
Thank you, sir. So, definitely, as we draw the curtains for this event today, our sincere appreciation and big thanks to our guest speaker once again, Mr. Nitin Mahajan, founder of Crispminds, for gracing the occasion. We would also like to express our heartful thanks to all our audience without whom our event is incomplete. Your presence has made this event even more meaningful. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I'm sure the knowledge we received today is rewarding and insightful. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the senior management of GSH for introducing us to such an eminent personality. Thank you, team. Once again, a big thank you to all of you. See you all soon in the next webinar. Till then, take care and happy parenting. Bye, everybody. Parents, you can log off from the session. Thank you for attending. Bye bye.
Joyce, ma'am, I think so. We